Welcome back to State USA. Did you know that Iowa sits at the natural crossroads between the eastern and western United States, acting as an invisible bridge between two worlds? That its soil is so fertile, it feeds millions of people across the planet, making it one of the greatest agricultural powerhouses on Earth? And that beneath its seemingly peaceful fields lies a buried past of ancient oceans, glaciers, and prehistoric creatures? Iowa is not just corn, it is connection, it is balance, it is the core that holds a nation together. Get ready, because today you're about to discover 50 incredible facts about Iowa that will completely change the way you see the true heart of America. 50. The lowest hills geological rarity. The lowest hills of western Iowa are a geological phenomenon that exists almost nowhere else on Earth. While lowest deposits are common across the globe, the sheer height and complexity of these formations are matched only by similar deposits in China. These hills were formed by wind-blown silt during the last ice age, piling up over 12,000 years. They rise sharply above the Missouri River Valley, creating a rugged and jagged landscape that defies the state's flat reputation. 49. The Great Driftless Area Escape. While most of Iowa was flattened by massive glaciers thousands of years ago, the northeastern corner was miraculously spared. This region is known as the driftless area because it lacks the glacial drift or debris left behind by retreating ice sheets. Because the glaciers bypass this zone, the landscape features steep bluffs, deep valleys, and cold water trout streams. It feels more like the Appalachian Mountains than the typical Midwestern plains we see in the movies or magazines. 48. The Iowa Great Lakes origin. In the northwestern part of the state, you will find a cluster of beautiful blue bodies of water known as the Iowa Great Lakes. These are not man-made reservoirs, but are actually natural glacial lakes, formed by the retreat of the Desmond Lobe Glacier roughly 13,000 years ago. Spirit Lake is the largest of these natural wonders, covering over 5,000 acres. They provide a rare deep water habitat in a region dominated by shallow prairie potholes. 47. The highest point, Hawkeye Point. Many people assume that the highest point in Iowa must be on top of a dramatic mountain, but it is actually located in a farmer's field. Hawkeye Point sits at an elevation of 1,670 ft above sea level in Osceola County. While it might not look like much compared to the Rocky Mountains, it provides a commanding view of the surrounding plains. The Sterler family graciously donated the land to ensure public access. 46. The deepest natural lake, West Okoboji. West Okoboji Lake is a standout geographical feature because it is the deepest natural lake in the entire state of Iowa, reaching depths of approximately 136 mft. This glacial lake is famous for its exceptionally clear blue water. Because of its depth and the way it was carved by ancient ice, it maintains a unique thermal stratification. It is part of the chain of lakes that defines the rugged topography of the northwestern Iowa landscape. Before continuing, be sure to subscribe State to State USA and leave a like to keep discovering the strange and incredible geography of our beautiful country. 45. The Mississippi River Confluence. The entire eastern border of Iowa is defined by the Mississippi River, which is one of the most significant geographical features in North America. Along this border, the river carves through high limestone bluffs that stand hundreds of feet tall. This massive waterway not only shapes the state's climate and economy, but also provides a vital migratory corridor for birds. Watching the sunrise over the river from the bluffs is an experience that rivals any coastal view. 44. The Missouri River meanders. While the Mississippi guards the east, the Missouri River defines the western boundary of the state. This river is historically famous for its wild and unpredictable path, often shifting its course after major floods. These meanders have created fertile floodplains and unique oxbow lakes over centuries. Unlike the Lockett Bluffs of the east, the western border has a more fluid and ever-changing nature. It serves as a stark geographical contrast to the more stable interior plains. 43. The Manson Impact Structure. Hidden deep beneath the soil of Calhoun, Pocahontas, and Humboldt counties is the site of a massive prehistoric disaster. The Manson impact structure is a buried meteorite crater that is roughly 24 mm in diameter. 74 million years ago, a large asteroid slammed into this location with enough force to vaporize the landscape. Today, the crater is completely invisible from the surface because it was covered by glacial till, but its geological footprint remains buried deep underground. 42. The Snake Alley Curves. In the city of Burlington, there is a geographical and engineering curiosity known as Snake Alley. This street was built in 1894 to help horses navigate the incredibly steep limestone bluff rising from the Mississippi River. It features 5 half curves and 2 quarter curves within a very short distance. Ripley's Believe It or Not once labeled it the most crooked street in the world. It is a perfect example of humans adapting to the state's rugged river topography. 41. The Carter Lake Anomaly. Carter Lake is the only city in Iowa that is located entirely on the western side of the Missouri River. This geographical oddity happened in 1877 when a massive flood caused the Missouri River to change its course. The river cut across a bend, leaving a piece of Iowa stranded on the Nebraska side. After decades of legal battles, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the land still belonged to Iowa, despite being physically detached. 40. The Design River Length. The Desmos River is the longest river flowing through the heart of the state, stretching over 500 miles from its headwaters to its mouth. It starts in Minnesota and cuts diagonally across Iowa before joining the Mississippi River at Kayok. This river has been the primary architect of the central Iowa landscape, carving out a wide valley that now holds the capital city. It is the lifeblood of the state's interior geography and its drainage system. 39. The Tall Grass Prairie Legacy. Before modern agriculture transformed the landscape, Iowa was enveloped by a vast sea of tall grass prairie that stretched uninterrupted from border to border. This was not merely a collection of plants, but a massive biological and geographical machine, teeming with biodiversity. The deep roots of prairie grasses, big blue stem, switchgrass, and Indian grass could plunge 15 ft into the earth, anchoring the soil and fostering nutrient cycles that built some of the richest topsoil on the planet. Bison herds roamed freely, while fires and grazing maintained the ecosystem's balance. Today, less than 1% of this original landscape remains, fragmented by plows and development. Yet, its profound geographical impact endures in Iowa's fertile fields and enduring agricultural dominance, a silent testament to nature's lost engineering marvel. 38. The fertile Mizol soil. The secret to Iowa's famous green fields lies in a specific type of soil known as mollisols. These soils are deep, dark, and incredibly rich in organic matter. Thanks to thousands of years of prairie growth, geographically, Iowa has a higher percentage of this high-quality soil than almost anywhere else in the world. This is why the state looks so remarkably uniform in color from the air. During the growing season, the dirt itself is a global geographical treasure. 37. The Geode State Rock Gem. Iowa's state rock is the geode, which is a hollow stone lined with beautiful crystals. These are found in abundance in the southeastern corner of the state, particularly in the Kayok area. These stones were formed millions of years ago, when mineral-rich waters seeped into cavities within limestone or shale. Geographically, this region is one of the most famous locations in the world for finding these hidden treasures. It proves that Iowa's geography has hidden beauty buried deep inside. 36. The Effigy Mounds Geography. And perched on the high bluffs overlooking the Mississippi River, Effigy Mounds National Monument showcases a unique blend of cultural and physical geography. The mounds were built by ancient peoples on top of dramatic ridges that rise hundreds of feet above the river valley. The topography of this area is so rugged that it forced the builders to follow the natural contours of the land. It is one of the few places where you can see how geography influenced ancient human construction. 35. The Makita Cave System. Makita Caves. State Park contains more caves than any other park in the state, highlighting Iowa's karst topography. This geographical feature occurs when water dissolves soluble rocks like limestone, creating underground passages, sinkholes, and natural bridges. The park features 13 different caves, including the massive 1100 ft Dance Hole Cave. It serves as a reminder that underneath the rolling cornfields, there is a complex world of jagged rocks and hidden caverns waiting to be explored by adventurous travelers. 34. The Red Rock Reservoir Scale. Lake Red Rock is the largest man-made lake in the state, and its geography is truly massive. Created by a dam on the Design River, the reservoir covers 15,000 acres during normal times. However, during flood events, it can expand to nearly 70,000 acres to protect downstream communities. The surrounding area features dramatic red sandstone bluffs that were formed 300 million years ago. It is a stunning example of how modern engineering can reshape a natural landscape. 33rd. The Sandstone Ledges of Boone County. In Boone County, you will find one of the most stunning geological sites in the heartland, called Ledges State Park. The park is famous for its massive sandstone cliffs that rise nearly 100 ft above the Design River. These cliffs were formed over 300 million years ago, when the entire region was covered by a vast inland sea. Walking through the Pease Creek Canyon feels like you have been transported to the canyons of the American Southwest. 32. The Geological Grotto of West Bend. Located in West Bend, the Grotto of the Redemption is a geographical wonder because it is essentially a mountain of precious stones and minerals transported from across the globe. Father Paul Doberstein spent 42 years building this massive structure using petrified wood, crystals, quartz, and geodesics. Geographically, it represents a concentrated collection of geological history in one square block. It is considered the largest man-made grotto in the world and contains millions of dollars worth of rare geological specimens. 31. The Meandering Path of the Floyd River. The Floyd River is a significant tributary of the Missouri River that flows through the northwestern part of the state. Named after Sergeant Charles Floyd, the only member of the Lewis and Clark expedition to die during their journey, the river has a winding path that has historically shaped the local landscape. Geographically, it is known for its dramatic flooding events and the fertile valley it has carved over thousands of years through the deep low soil deposits in the region. 30. The ancient Blue Lake Oxbow. Blue Lake, located within Lewis and Clark State Park, is a fascinating example of an oxbow lake formed by the Missouri River. Originally, the river followed a wide loop through this area, but over time, the current cut a straight path, leaving the curved loop isolated from the main flow. This geological process created a permanent lake that provides a snapshot of where the river used to flow hundreds of years ago, before modern engineering stabilized the banks. 29. The hidden Devonian Fossil Gorge. In 1993, a massive flood at Coralville Lake washed away layers of soil and rocks to reveal the Devonian Fossil Gorge. This geographical miracle exposed a prehistoric ocean floor that is 375 million years old. Visitors can walk on the ancient limestone and see thousands of fossilized sea creatures, like crinoids and corals. It is a rare place where a modern natural disaster perfectly preserved a clear window into the incredibly distant geological past of Iowa. 28. The highest bluffs at Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak State Park sits at top a massive bluff overlooking the confluence of the Wisconsin and Mississippi rivers. It is named after Zebulon Pike, who also explored the famous mountain in Colorado. Geographically, this location offers one of the most majestic views in the Midwest. Standing 500 ft above the river valley, the rugged terrain here is characterized by steep ravines and unique rock formations that have been shaped by the relentless forces of wind and water erosion. 27. The Great Watershed, Drainage Divide. Iowa has a major geographical feature known as the Drainage Divide that runs from the northwest to the southeast. This high ridge determines whether water flows east toward the Mississippi River or west toward the Missouri River. If you stand on this invisible line, a single raindrop could potentially end up in the Gulf of Mexico via two completely different routes. It is a fundamental part of the state's topography that dictates the direction of every stream and river system. 26. The vast reach of the Cedar River. The Cedar River is a vital geographical artery that flows for over 300 miles across the eastern part of the state. It is famous for its large drainage basin, which encompasses nearly 8,000 square miles of fertile land. The river has carved a wide valley and is known for its sandy bottom and numerous limestone outcrops. It provides a diverse habitat for wildlife and has been a major factor in the urban development of cities like Cedar Rapids. 25. The towering Upper Iowa River Bluffs. The Upper Iowa River is frequently cited as one of the most scenic waterways in the entire United States. It is unique because it is carved deep into the limestone bedrock of the Dreyfus area, creating towering vertical bluffs that rise hundreds of feet. These palisades are a stark departure from the typical rolling hills seen elsewhere. Geographically, the river is one of the few in the region that allows for such dramatic cliffside views from the water level. 24. The biological wonder of Silver Lake Fen. Silver Lake Fen is a rare geological and biological feature located in Dickinson County. A fen is a type of wetland that is fed by mineral-rich groundwater rather than surface water or rainfall. This creates a unique chemical environment that supports plants found nowhere else in the state. Geographically, these fens are remnants of the glacial period and act as natural filters for the local water table. It is like a living museum of ancient cold water habitats. 23. The rugged Prep Canyon Wilderness. Preparation Canyon is tucked away in the low hills and offers some of the most rugged and remote geography in the state. The canyon was formed by the erosion of wind-blown silt, creating steep ridges and deep valleys that feel surprisingly mountainous. Unlike the manicured fields nearby, this area remains wild and demonstrates the natural power of wind erosion. It is a primary example of how the low hills can create a landscape that is both beautiful and harsh. 22. The narrow ridge of Backbone State Park. Backbone State Park is home to a unique geological formation known as the Devil's Backbone. This is a narrow ridge of weathered dolomite limestone surrounded by a loop of the Maquetto River. The ridge is so thin in some places that you can look down steep cliffs on both sides at once. It was Iowa's first state park established because of this distinct and dramatic topography. Walking the spine of the ridge provides a perspective on the state's ancient bedrock. 21. The carved canyons of Wildcat Den. Wildcat Den State Park features a collection of unique geological structures, including Steamboat Rock and the Devil's Punch Bowl. The deep gorges and towering cliffs provide a cool, damp microclimate that supports rare ferns and mosses. Geographically, it is a small pocket of rugged terrain that highlights the diversity of the river bluffs along the eastern edge of Iowa. 20. The Lead Mines and Julian Dubuque. The Mines of Spain area near Dubuque is a significant geographical site because of its rich lead deposits found within the limestone bluffs. These mineral veins were formed by prehistoric hydrothermal activity and were later mined by Native Americans and European settlers. The site features the Horseshoe Bluff, which provides a vertical cross-section of the geological history of the region. It is a place where geology and human history are inextricably linked by the very rocks beneath the ground. 19. The massive private lake panorama. Lake Panorama is the largest private lake in Iowa and represents a significant alteration of the natural geography. It was created by damming the Middle Raccoon River to provide a massive recreational area. The lake covers over 1,000 acres and features over 30 miles of shoreline, which is a massive change for the local drainage system. It demonstrates how modern human activity can create entirely new aquatic ecosystems in a landscape that was previously dominated by river valleys and prairie. 18. The handcrafted dam of Beeds Lake. Beeds Lake State Park is renowned for its stunning spillway, handcrafted by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s, using local limestone boulders gathered from nearby fields. This man-made reservoir in northern Iowa, northwest of Hampton, originated from an earlier earthen dam built in the 1850s to power mills. The CCC rebuilt it from 1934 to 1938, creating a dramatic 170-foot wide structure with horizontal limestone layers, dropping 40 ft in a stair-step design. Water cascades over the edge, forming a picturesque waterfall and a refreshing mist at the base. Accessible via trails, this masterpiece exemplifies the harmonious blend of natural topography and human engineering, ensuring a reliable water source in a lake-scarce region while becoming one of the Midwest's most photographed landmarks. 17. The unplowed Hayden Prairie Preserve. Hayden Prairie is the largest remaining black soil prairie in the state of Iowa and serves as a vital geographical baseline. Because this land was never plowed, it retains the original topography and soil structure that once covered millions of acres. This preserve allows scientists to study the natural water absorption and carbon storage capabilities of the native prairie landscape. 16. The ancient Gitche Manitou Rocks. In the far northwestern corner of the state lies the Gitche Manitou State Preserve, which contains some of the oldest exposed rock in Iowa. Geographically, these rocks are an extension of the Canadian Shield that managed to poke through the surface. The area features a unique jasper pool and rugged outcrops that feel entirely different from the rest of the state. 15. The glacial prairie pothole wetlands. The northern half of Iowa is dotted with thousands of small shallow wetlands known as prairie potholes. Geographically, these potholes are vital for catching runoff and providing habitat for migratory birds. While many have been drained for farming, they remain a defining feature of the central Iowa landscape, showing the history of the massive ice sheets. 14. The Keokuk geode bed concentration in southeastern Iowa is globally recognized for having the highest concentration of high-quality geodes in the world. Specifically, the Warsaw Shale Formation, near the city of Keokuk, provides the perfect environment for these crystalline wonders to form. Geographically, these stones are concentrated in the creek beds and riverbanks of this specific region. Collectors travel from every corner of the planet to dig for these hollow rocks, which often contain spectacular arrangements of quartz calci and even rare pyrite crystals inside. 13. The Yellow River Forest Topography. Yellow River State Forest is located in the heart of the driftless area and features some of the most dramatic relief in the state. The landscape is characterized by deep, narrow valleys and high ridges that rise hundreds of feet above the forest floor. Geographically, it is home to the only fire tower in Iowa, which offers a panoramic view of the rugged terrain. The forest contains cold water streams that support natural trout populations, a rare find in the Midwest. 12. The Desmos Lobe Flatness. The Desmos Lobe is a specific geographical region created by the most recent glacier to visit Iowa. This ice sheet retreated only 10,000 years ago, leaving behind a remarkably flat landscape in the north-central part of the state. Unlike the older, more eroded landscapes of southern Iowa, this area features poorly developed natural drainage systems. This geography required the extensive use of tiling and ditches to manage water, turning what was once a vast marsh into productive farmland. 11. The Bellevue State Park Palisades. Sitting high on the bluffs above the Mississippi River, Bellevue State Park offers a unique look at the Silurian escarpment. This geographical feature consists of massive limestone palisades that create a vertical wall along the river valley. The park is divided into two separate sections that showcase the rugged nature of the eastern border. From the overlooks, you can see how the river has carved deep into the bedrock, creating a natural fortress that has guarded the valley for eons. Before continuing, be sure to subscribe to State USA and leave a like to keep discovering the strange and incredible geography of our entire country. 10. The Big Sioux River Border. The Big Sioux River forms the northernmost portion of the western border of Iowa, separating it from South Dakota. Geographically, it is a narrow and winding river that cuts through thick layers of loess and glacial till. Unlike the wider Missouri River to the south, the Big Sioux feels more intimate and is known for its dramatic changes in water level. It serves as a vital boundary that marks the transition from the humid tall grass prairie to the drier plains. 9. The Sullivan Line Border Survey. John Sullivan conducted the original survey in 1816, but he failed to account for magnetic variation leading to a slanted line. This geographical error nearly led to armed conflict between Iowa and Missouri over a narrow strip of valuable timber and bee trees. This site now offers a rare look at the Devonian period bedrock that would normally be hidden under hundreds of feet of dirt. It is a place where modern hydrological engineering and ancient geology meet in a truly spectacular way. 7. The Tario River Valley Silt. The Tario River flows through the southwestern corner of Iowa and is known for its incredibly deep silt deposits. Geographically, this river system drains the western side of the state, carrying rich loess soil from the hills toward the Missouri River. 6. The Doiver Memorial Sandstone Bluffs. Do Oliver Memorial State Park features unique geological formations known as Copper's Beds. These are towering sandstone bluffs located along the banks of the Desmo River in Webster County. It offers a rugged canyon experience in central Iowa. 5. The Rathbun Lake Inland Sea. Rathbun Lake is often referred to as Iowa's Inland Sea or Iowa's Ocean because of its massive size, expansive open water, and prevailing winds that create wave conditions reminiscent of the sea, making it one of the state's premier sailing destinations. Geographically, it was created by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, damming the Chariton River in the late 1960s to control flooding in the Missouri River Basin, provide water supply, and enhance recreation. The reservoir covers approximately 11,000 acres, with a shoreline stretching over 155 meters, surrounded by rolling hills in southern Iowa's Ayanus County. It has completely transformed the local geography, creating a large-scale aquatic habitat in an area dominated by hills, prairies, and timber. The lake supports diverse wildlife, including bald eagles, white-tailed deer, wild turkeys, Canada geese, and fish species like crappie walleye, channel catfish, and largemouth bass. Popular recreational activities include boating, fishing, camping, and over 700 sites across multiple parks, hiking, hunting, and swimming with facilities like Honey Creek Resort, adding modern amenities such as golf and an indoor water park. 4. The Nebago River Valley Path. The Nebago River is a beautiful waterway that flows through northern Iowa, carving a scenic path through the glacial plains. Geographically, it is a tributary of the Shell Rock River and is known for its clear water and limestone outcroppings. Its path was determined by the retreat of the last glaciers, which left behind the gravel and sand that defined the riverbed. 3. The Paleozoic Plateau Slopes. The Paleozoic Plateau is the technical name for the rugged northeastern corner of Iowa that escaped the most recent glaciers. Geographically, this region is defined by its thin soil and exposed bedrock, which is hundreds of millions of years old. The slopes here are incredibly steep, leading down to cold spring-fed streams that flow into the Mississippi River. It is a landscape of sinkholes, caves, and springs that offers a stark contrast to the deep flat soils found in the rest of the state. 2. The Pilot Knob Glacial Moraine. Pilot Knob State Park is located on the second highest point in Iowa, sitting atop a massive glacial moraine. Geographically, a moraine is a pile of rocks and debris left behind by a retreating glacier. This high point offered a landmark for early travelers across the flat plains. The park also contains a rare floating sphagnum moss bog, which is a unique botanical and geographical feature for the Midwest. It shows how the glaciers literally reshaped the face of the land. 1. The total boundary of water. The most incredible geographical fact about Iowa is that it is the only state in the United States bordered entirely by two different navigable rivers. The Mississippi River defines the entire eastern border, while the Missouri River and the Big Sioux River define the entire western border. This makes Iowa a giant peninsula of land tucked between the two greatest river systems on the continent. Geographically, the state is defined by water, despite being located in the middle of a massive landmass. Leave it in the comments, and let's see how many of us picked the same fact. If you think we missed one or want to add something, we'd love to hear from you. Your comments help us make every video even better. And speaking of videos, here's another one on screen so you can keep exploring the geography of our beautiful country. Oh, and sorry if there were any mispronunciations, and we're always trying to make each video better than the last. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe State to State USA and give it a like so we can keep learning together. Thanks for watching.